going on here.
Remember, slow and shallow.
Shallow. Slow and shallow. Shallow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful. That
Slower.
didn't hurt at all.
So they're doing your bi-weekly.
They're taking blood to check for my blood count. And if my iron is too low, then they give me iron through the dialysis process.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know.
I'm going for the second needle now.
Okay.
Ready?
That's good. I didn't feel it at all.
One more needle.
No, two now.
One for good luck.
How are you feeling, Linda?
Oh, great. And now begins my 4-hour sleep. Because that's how long the treatment takes. But we are fortunate to have individual TV screens for each chair. So that doesn't, it takes away the boredom. She's prepping the lines to make sure that there's no air in the lines.
Okay.
And the blue goes away from the heart? No, to the
Toward.
heart.
Yeah.
And then the red comes away from the heart.
Yeah. Comes away.
So would you tell me a little bit about what it's like coming in You come in 3 times a week?
Three times a week. I come in Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
At what time?
My usual hookup is about between 10 and 10:30, and I usually take the handy van because after the procedure, I'm too weak to drive, so that means a longer day because when I catch the handy van, it's supposed to be 2 hours prior to the actual pickup and 2 hours after, so it's been a long day. The difference between the home dialysis and the in-center, or which they call hemodialysis, has its pluses and minuses. With the home dialysis, you can do it, and you can do it at your own schedule as long as you do it within once in a 24-hour period. Whereas with here, you'd have to be here on time because they're all scheduled in half-an-hour increments so that the patients, can get the proper treatment.
So you come here in the handy van?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But on the days that I don't go to dialysis, then I do driving, some short driving to the market. Whereas with the home dialysis, although I have to be home by a certain time to hook up for the evening, during the day I can do anything, pretty much a lot of freedom that way. But with hemodialysis, in-center dialysis, you don't have to worry about all the other things, everybody takes care of you. And the nurses and the technicians are very helpful here, and they're really very cautious. They really look out for the patient's benefit.
I keep hearing that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear
Yeah.
that.
And then the camaraderie between the technicians and all the technicians and nurses is really great. It's a happy workplace for them.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So tell me what your day is going to be like now for the next 4 hours.
Well, if I get tired of watching TV, then I take a quick snooze, a cat nap, and I need to drink sips of water because I take this medication that gives me dry coughs. So that, and plus I get up early in the morning to catch the handy van, so I eat breakfast like about 5 o'clock, and they recommend not eating during the treatment, but I'm a diabetic, so I need to eat every 5 hours. So that's why I brought some snacks, granola bars, which isn't too high in phosphorus, because that's a main no-no for the dialysis patients. And I sip a little water too, because it gets kind of dry.
Yeah. I notice you have earphones around your neck. Is that for the TV?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now begins the treatment, which is what they do is the blood comes from the body and goes through the filter, removes all the toxins, that little bar thing,
Yeah.
and it returns the blood, cleansed blood to the heart. They talk about fluid overload, and that's a big concern because if a dialysis patient drinks too much liquid or eats like too much watermelon or vegetables that are high in water like iceberg lettuce, there's nowhere for the liquid to go because that usually you urinate that out with a functioning kidney. With a non-functioning kidney, it stays and recirculates in your body. That's why sometimes if I know I drank too much liquid, then my eyes start to water, because that's the only outlet that the water has to go.
Right.
That's another good thing about home dialysis, that because you take it out yourself, you can monitor it better. You can drink a little bit more liquid, you're freer to do that. And yeah, there were times when I had too much liquid, and it's like I felt miserable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when I came to dialysis, oh, what a relief.
How long have you been on dialysis?
Well, with the combination of the home dialysis and the in-center dialysis, I've been on that for about a little over 10 years.
Okay. Hold on just a second.
You've been in dialysis for 10 years, and you started out with
Peritoneal.
So why did you switch to coming in?
After about 8 years, I had developed an infection, and so I had to go to the hospital to have the catheter removed. And because it was so well secured that they had a difficult time taking out the catheter, so I wouldn't be able to go back to the peritoneal dialysis. So my nephrologist said to do the instead of the hemodialysis, and that's how I transitioned over.
Okay, and the peritoneal dialysis is done every day,
Every day, right?
so that gives you better control over your fluids.
And then you're a little bit freer to eat things that contain phosphorus and potassium, whereas when you do hemodialysis, you're very restricted. And although if you think you want to cheat, your body will tell you, because if there's too much potassium, there's a lot of cramping in the muscles.
Oh, okay.
And with too much phosphorus, your skin gets dry to the point where, you want to scratch. It's like a rash all over your whole body that is uncontrollably itchy. So I've learned to listen to my body.
How is your life different now?
Eating is more restricted, which, I used to love food. But it's just a matter of getting adjusted.
Being adjusted?
Yeah, getting adjusted to the process. And looking, on the bright side of things. And what I try to do is, I try to come in with a positive attitude. And what I do is I consider it like my job. And so I come to, the dialysis center dressed nicely so that, if you look good, you feel good. Versus some of the other patients, some of them come in their robes and PJs and sweats, it's like, oh, it would be better if you dressed like you're going to church.
What is your life like now? Does it revolve around dialysis, or?
Pretty much, but I try not to let it consume me too much. I just try to lead a normal as possible lifestyle that I was before I got to do dialysis. Because I was speaking to one of the social workers, and she says, pay it forward. If you dwell on the negative, you just drag yourself down. So I took that to heart, and what I did was I volunteered a lot. And that took my mind off of my own pity party.
What kind of support do you get?
um,
When you come in here, the people are helpful and supportive.
yes.
And
yes.
then you go back home and you mentioned you see a social worker?
Well, there's a on-duty social worker here.
Okay.
So, you know, we...
Do they come by when you're here?
Yes, yes.
Do they come by and see you at home?
Not for me. I don't know about other patients.
Okay.
That could be a possibility.
But you don't feel a need to see a social worker at home?
No.
Okay.
Because they do a yearly assessment, see how you're doing. And this new social worker, she tries to connect with the patients because she wants to get to know them.
Okay.
The red beeping could mean a lot of things.
Your systolic is high.
Yeah.
Is that normal that happens?
For me, yeah.
Okay.
Ever since I started dialysis, my systolic has always been high.
So the systolic is it should be 120 over 80, and so
Yeah.
the 120 is your systolic?
Yeah.
Am I-
You feel alright?
You feel all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Too much excitement.
If I'm your excitement, we're both in trouble.
Alright, we're done. Thank you so much.
How often do you meet with your dietitian?
In the beginning, I'm an inquisitive type of person, so I would always question her what's good to eat. Do they have recipes that are kidney friendly? And I also volunteer for Kidney Foundation, the local Kidney Foundation. And they have a cookbook, and it's designed for local taste.
Oh,
Yeah. So they're gonna redo it again. They're gonna have another edition. They're still in the process of gathering more recipes, local recipes, and try to make it kidney friendly.
so how often do you see a dietitian? Monthly, weekly? Monthly?
Because when they do the lab work, that's when the dietitian comes in to the center and they tell you how your labs were, if your phosphorus was too high, your potassium was too high, and the albumin, that's your protein level. That's another important lab work that they check for. And of course, being a diabetic, they check for my A1C. That's a 3-month overview of the blood, how high my sugars are.
What's your diet on dialysis?
I try to eat healthy. I try to eat salads with chicken or fish, because I'm not a meat eater. I mean, I will once in a while, but the protein is important. The dietitian also suggested if I don't want to eat too much chicken or fish, that to eat maybe half a cup of cottage cheese, because that's high in protein too. But we have to, as a dialysis patient, you have to watch to not take too much dairy products, because it has a lot of phosphorus. And I was surprised to find out that oatmeal is high in phosphorus.
What is? Oatmeal?
Yes. And Jello. I love my Jello. But she says, oh, that's really high in phosphorus.
What is your diet specifically now?
It's more balanced. I have little carbs, because I used to be, like most local Asians or local people, they eat a lot of rice. I cut that back down to, instead of like a whole gob of rice, I just eat maybe a half a cup, a quarter cup. And then I have my main dish, which is about 3 or 4 ounces of protein, which is I usually like salmon. Salmon is really my favorite, and then chicken. I try to stay away from fried chicken because fried chicken is not that good. It's better to be grilled or poached chicken. Um, and then I still have to learn to incorporate more veggies. Not my favorite. During the summer months, though, that's really hard because it's so hot that I would tend to eat like popsicles or more ice cubes. Or like that's you can only perspire so much, and the fluid still builds up in you. So I always come in way over my dry weight, during the summer months. But then after a while, when it gets cooler, then I don't drink as much.
When you were diagnosed with chronic kidney disease and you were going to be put on dialysis, were you at your nephrologist talking about that?
It was really a funny thing how it happened, because when I was working, one of my duties was to take deposits to the bank. So it was within walking distance, a couple of blocks away from my office. But I would walk maybe 5 feet, I would be perspiring and out of breath. So I went to my PCP, my regular doctor, and he didn't know what was wrong with me. So this kept going on, and I said, please send me to a cardiologist. And when I went to see the cardiologist, he diagnosed me with kidney failure, because what was happening is that the bladder wasn't excreting enough urine, so all of that was backing up around my heart. That's why I was having a hard time breathing and perspiring a lot. So he was the one that actually diagnosed me.
Did he send you to a nephrologist?
Yes, he did.
And the nephrologist confirmed that diagnosis?
Yes.
And then where did you go from there? Were you in denial? That's the famous problem with people with chronic kidney disease.
Yeah, actually, prior to that, like about maybe 5 years prior to that incident, I had a urologist checking after me, and he says, back then I had no idea what the GFR meant, but that's a guideline to see how well your kidneys are working. And so the urologist said, we'll watch it because it's dropping from 50% functioning, it dropped to 25% functioning to 13. When it hit 13, that's when I was having all these problems. That's when the nephrologist said, you have to go on dialysis. And I was kind of in denial, but I knew it was inevitable that I would have to go on dialysis. So I said, I just got to do it.
So where did you go? The nephrologist brought you into his office and told you this, that you need dialysis. So where did he send you somewhere? Were you referred to U.S. Renal Care, or how did you end up?
Yes, he referred me because they only will accept it from a nephrologist.
Okay.
New applicant. So that's where I went. I said, I want peritoneal dialysis because I knew about it. He was kind of surprised that I knew about it, because the first thing that nephrologists refer is always hemo. And that's what, when I was working, I was volunteering for a Kidney Foundation. They started a program to have the PCP, the general doctors, to test for the GFR, the filtration rate, and to be more aware of the kidney disease. They set up an appointment, And we went through all kinds of paperwork, and that's when they told me that I'd have to put a fistula in.
Mm-hmm.
No.
A
They wanted
catheter.
me to put the fistula in. I said, no, I don't want to. I want to do a peritoneal dialysis.
Okay.
And so they decided to, grant me that wish to do peritoneal dialysis because I was still working, so I couldn't take off 3 times a week. And it kind of depends on your employer how they react to it. So fortunately, I had a good boss, but I didn't want to impose on it because it made work harder for me because I have to catch up the days that I'm not there. So I did peritoneal dialysis.
Okay. Did they ask you about payment for dialysis and the other treatment?
Well, actually, what happened was I retired from my office, my work, and that's when I found out through Social Security that because I'm on kidney failure, that it's covered, and I don't have to pay anything. So, and I could also even apply for Social Security disability insurance, which is a supplement payment to help with the doctor bills. Because I wasn't quite 65 yet. So I said, no, I still want to work if I'm able to. So I did work for about maybe 3 or 4 years after I got diagnosed, but then I started to feel tired, and I would be sleeping at the wheel. So I said, oh no, I better quit.
So
before I
you
kill
were on
somebody.
peritoneal dialysis
Yes.
then? Okay.
Yes. I'm a light sleeper, so they have this computerized machine that pumps in the saline solution, and then after so many hours it draws it out. But I roll in my sleep, so I used to roll over in the catheter, and it's very sensitive, so the alarm would go off, so I wake up 2-3 times a night to reset the alarm. So that was causing my loss of sleep. So that's why I decided to stay home.
Okay. So none of your expenses, even before you retired, none of your expenses were paid out of pocket for your chronic kidney disease? It was all covered by Social
All
Security?
covered. For a moment, I was on the transplant list, and they gave me more in-depth information about the payments because the follow-up care is so expensive. Plus, I needed to have a caregiver, which I don't have. And if I had to hire someone, it would be so expensive.
And that would be out of your pocket?
Out of my pocket, yes. And because initially, at that time, that was several years ago, it would be like $4,000 a month for those anti-rejection drugs. And after that, there's, I don't know, some kind of something that I would pay only $400 on drugs after that initial acceptance period, if the kidney doesn't reject. But I would pay like $400 to $500 a month for the rest of my life for those anti-rejection drugs.
And that's not covered by any insurance?
No, it's all out of pocket. That was part of the main reason why I took myself off the transplant list, because financially it's not feasible for me.
Can we talk about your diabetes?
Oh, that I was in denial. That I truly believe I was in denial, because I was diagnosed in 1971. I said, I really don't, you know, I can handle this. Never took my medication. Then my A1C kept rising.
Do you have any idea how you got diabetes?
I believe in my family it's hereditary because even my mom, she was told that she had diabetes, but she refused to believe the doctor. She says, oh, you got your records mixed up with my daughter. My daughter has diabetes. But her brother had diabetes, my uncle. And my brother has diabetes and his son has diabetes. So I believe it runs in our family.
You got diagnosed with diabetes in 71? Okay. And when did you begin treating yourself for diabetes as opposed to denying it?
Oh, I would say maybe 5 or 10 years later.
Oh. Oh.
I know the damage was already done, but you know, I guess salvaging as much as possible what was left.
I never find
Are you tired? Am I making you tired and you want to take a break?
No, I'm still good.
Okay.
It's usually after the treatment that I get really tired. And so it's kind of like a cycle that you get tired after the treatment, so you take naps. So it breaks the sleep cycle of evening sleep to the next morning. And so I sleep sporadically.
How are your energy levels during the day?
On the days that I don't go dialysis, it's up and down. If I sit and watch TV, then I fall asleep. But if I'm actually, you know, meeting friends and stuff like that, my energy is much better because, you know, my blood is circulating better. My
Yeah.
heart's pumping better.
Do you exercise? Is that part of what they recommend,
They
exercise?
recommend that.
And you don't do it, do you?
Moderately.
So just finish the 2 minutes, yeah? In order for it to complete.
Okay, what happens now?
So what happens now is after she finishes her UF time, you start getting back her blood using the saline. So in that way she can have all her blood back. And you start from there. Hopefully all the blood pressures are good.
Can you tell me what UF rate is?
So UF rate is that determines how much we're taking off every hour. So this is a fluid rate. Yeah. So now she's done.
Yeah, I have.
Uh-huh. one at a time, or you can push
I can do both.
both?
Oh, can you put the band-aid?
Dahil first. Kumari. You hold this one, I'm gonna change it, okay?
Okay.
Just gonna, we'll grab another bag. Okay, just hold for now. This time I'm gonna put the gauze in first.
Okay.
Yeah? Because sometimes it throws off the